Have you ever felt stuck in your Medicare plan? You're thinking maybe you want to make a change, but surely there can't be any way to do that now, right? Since we're outside of the open enrollment. Today, I want to draw attention to the fact that there really are some options for some people to switch their plan throughout the year. Of course, 100% of Medicare eligibles won't be able to switch at any time, but there are enough options that it's worth talking about. Stay tuned to see if there's an option for you to make a plan switch now. I'm Pam Turner, the creator and facilitator of the Medicare Facebook group known as Navigating Medicare the Easy Way. I help you to get rid of all those fears and worries about getting onto Medicare and enrolling in the right plan by streamlining the whole process for you. We happen to be in the midst of an enrollment period right now that affects millions of people on Medicare, yet it's not very well known. It's the Medicare Advantage Open Enrollment period. But wait, isn't that what just ended this past December? Actually, this is something different. This time it only applies to those that already have an Advantage plan. And you can make a one-time switch to a different Advantage plan or drop it altogether. The typical advertising that we see during the fall open enrollment isn't allowed during this time. It's designed to be more of a safety net after the open enrollment than anything else, and it isn't meant to be a free-for-all like it is in the fall. So what is this current enrollment period good for? It's ideal if you have an Advantage plan and you either want to switch to a different Advantage plan or drop it and enroll in a Medigap plan. The reasons you may want to switch your Advantage plan to something else are, number one, maybe you recently found out a provider you need is no longer in the network. Number two, maybe a drug you need is no longer covered. Or maybe the plan you have no longer offers dental and you didn't realize it. That was number three. Number four, any other reason having to do with changes in benefits that you weren't aware of. You can make a change up until March 31st with a new plan effective date of April 1st. If you're thinking of dropping your Advantage plan altogether, now is the time to do it. But I'm assuming you'd want to buy a Medigap plan to replace it, and you might need to qualify based on health depending on your state. I'd recommend attempting this no longer than the second week of March. Now, as at the time of this recording, it's February 25th. But definitely don't go past that because you want to make sure that you qualify before dropping your Advantage plan. You'd have to make sure that you're approved on the Medigap plan first before actually dropping your Advantage plan. Next up, I want to share with you all the possible ins and outs of switching your plan mid-year once this current enrollment period ends at the end of March. I'm going to talk about what options you have to switch your plan if you have either a Medigap plan or an Advantage plan, or even if you don't have supplemental coverage at all. So what if you have a Medigap plan? What are your options? A Medigap plan is a type of plan that keeps original Medicare as your primary coverage. Medicare pays first and your Medigap plan pays second. These plans are popular because you don't have to stick to a doctor network and you don't need a referral to see a specialist. So what are some reasons somebody may want to switch their Medigap plan? The number one reason usually is just to lower the cost. The rates typically go up every single year, but some people may want more coverage, so they'll bump up to a higher coverage plan. What many people don't realize, though, is that Medigap plans have nothing to do with the fall open enrollment that we all hear about every year. It's so ingrained in people that there's an open enrollment for Medicare that people just start to assume that you can switch from any plan to any other plan as long as it's during the fall open enrollment. This would be nice, but it isn't true for Medigap plans. In most states, you get to join a Medigap plan when you first join Medicare. You have 6 months to buy a Medigap policy without any health questions. But after that, you must answer the health questions and pass the medical underwriting, except in New York, Vermont, Connecticut, and Massachusetts, where you can buy a policy anytime regardless of health. You might be surprised, though, how many people are actually able to pass this underwriting process when applying to switch their Medigap plan. When people hear about having to answer health questions, they write it off and assume it's almost impossible to switch, but that's not the case. You can have some health conditions and still qualify to switch. It just depends on which type of health conditions. The main point I wanted to get across, though, about the Medigap plans is that you can apply for a Medigap plan any time of year and that they're not bound by any enrollment periods. The catch is, if you're enrolled in an Advantage plan and you want to switch to a Medigap plan, this is where you can get stuck because you do need an enrollment period in most cases in order to drop the Advantage plan and then go on the Medigap. So in this case, you do need to wait until the fall open enrollment to drop your Advantage plan. But if you don't have an Advantage plan, say you just have original Medicare and you want to add a Medigap plan, you can apply anytime. You don't have to wait until the fall. If you have a Medigap plan and maybe you want to either change your plan, such as changing from a plan G to a plan N, Or if you want to change companies to get a cheaper monthly premium, you can do that any time of year. I know I'm being repetitive, but I just want to emphasize. Now, the process I follow is after I go over your situation with you, what plan switch you want to make, and narrowing down the companies by running quotes, we go over the health questions before completing the application. That prevents us from wasting any time. Sometimes I call a carrier's underwriting department first to get more detailed information about what conditions that they will and won't accept if we're not sure. Once everything looks good, say we go through this process and everything looks good, you're able to answer questions, we go ahead and submit the application. This is an easy online process that I complete for you over the phone through my broker portal with each carrier. I also want to reiterate that some states allow you to switch or join a Medigap plan any time of year. Those states are New York, Vermont, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. And if you already have a Medigap plan, you can experience a year-round open enrollment in a couple states. This is Washington and Maine. You can't just join one in those states if you don't already have one. Now, more and more states are adding the ability to switch your Medigap plan at least once a year. Now, this is if you have an existing one already. This is often known as the birthday rule because these states use your birthday to determine the time frame that you're going to switch. And the states that currently have a birthday rule are Oregon, California, Nevada, Idaho, Illinois, Oklahoma, Kentucky, Louisiana, and Maryland. And Missouri has an anniversary rule, which is a similar concept but uses the anniversary date instead of your birthday. If you have an Advantage plan, you do have some options to switch your plan anytime, but not as many options as with Medigap. The number one option to switch your Advantage plan is based on the plan ratings in your area. If your zip code has a 5-star rated Advantage plan, you can switch to that plan any time of year. A 5-star quality rating comes from member satisfaction surveys and other information from the plans and healthcare providers to give overall performance star ratings. The ratings go from 1 to 5, and 5 is considered excellent. The ratings change each year, and the new plan year ratings come out each fall. You can make a one-time switch to a 5-star rated plan each year outside of the fall open enrollment. The other not very well-known enrollment opportunity for Advantage plans is chronic special needs plans. If you have a severe disabling condition and there's a chronic special needs plan for your condition in your area, you can join that plan outside of the fall open enrollment. Additionally, for those with dual eligible Medicare Medicaid plans, you're allowed to switch your plan every single month of the year. This actually switched recently because it used to be this way a while ago, then it switched to quarterly, and now it's back to every month of the year. If you qualify for extra help with your prescription drug coverage, the same applies to you. You can switch your Advantage plan or just your individual or standalone drug plan every month of the year. Here's a few additional rules that you may not have been aware of. If you move out of your Medicare Advantage plan service area, you get to choose a new one in your new address or get guaranteed acceptance onto a Medigap plan. This can be really exciting for people that have been wanting to switch to a Medigap plan but haven't been able to qualify due to their health. Unfortunately, the same doesn't apply if you're moving out of the area where you bought your Medigap plan. I mean, if your price is really going up and you want to switch and you can't qualify. So in other words, if you already have a Medigap plan and you move, you can't switch to a different company just because of your move. You would still have to go through the health underwriting unless you're in one of the states that I already listed as an exception. Now that you got to see the scenarios that allow you to switch any time of year, what if you don't fall under any of these? Your next opportunity to switch would be this October 15th to December 7th with the effective date starting January 1st. The fall open enrollment was created for Medicare plans through private insurance, which are the Advantage plans and the standalone drug plans. This is the time to either switch your Advantage plan to any other Advantage plan available in your area or drop it all together and go back to original Medicare. But if you want to go back to original Medicare, you may want to see if you qualify for a Medigap plan first before dropping your Advantage plan. And I was already talking about this a little bit with the current period that we're in, and it goes exactly the same way. I have a process I use that I walk you through that makes sure everything that you're doing is in the right order. I make sure your Medigap plan is approved first before enrolling you in your drug plan, which would cancel out your Advantage plan. Again, as a reminder, if you have a Medigap plan, the fall open enrollment won't help you to switch to a different Medigap plan, but you can switch to an Advantage plan during that time if you want to lower your monthly costs. If it's your first time ever trying an Advantage plan, Coming off of a Medigap plan, you may be able to utilize a special trial right period that allows you to drop your Advantage plan within the first 12 months if you decide you didn't like it and go back to Medigap. So keep that in mind. Let me know if anything in this video was confusing. I'd be happy to clarify down in the comments below. If you want to get free help with any of these scenarios, that's what I'm here for. My help is always 100% free from start to finish. It doesn't have to feel complicated when you get my help. I have access to all the pricing, and I offer multiple companies for the Advantage plans, the standalone drug plans, and also the Medigap plans. So you have a lot of options when you work with me. If you need a plan that I'm not able to offer, I'll be honest and tell you. I can't help you with the plan that you need, and I'll give a recommendation outside of my available options. I don't pressure you or try to convince you to go with something that isn't optimal just so I can add another number to my sales for the month. If I'm not convinced I can offer you the most optimal, best plan for your situation, I'm not going to recommend that you sign up through me. My help, again, is always 100% free because the companies that I work with, that I enroll you in, pay me when I enroll you directly through my broker portal with the plan. I don't have quotas. I'm not desperate to make a sale. So you can have peace of mind knowing you're not going to be sold or pressured into making a decision. If you are new to Medicare and you need help learning about your options and enrolling for the first time, or if you've been on Medicare for a while and you want help evaluating your current coverage, either now, throughout the year, during the fall open enrollment, I'm available for either type of appointment. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.